Judge says deportations of Maryland man to an El Salvador prison was wholly lawless. This is from AP News. It was posted on April 6th, 2025, so that was yesterday. It says, Greenbelt MD AP. The U.S. government's decision to arrest a Maryland man and send him to a notorious prison in El Salvador appears to be wholly lawless, a federal judge wrote Sunday in a legal opinion explaining why she had ordered the Trump administration to bring him back to the United States. There is little to no evidence to support a vague, uncorroborated allegation that Kilmer Abrego Garcia was once in the MS-13 street gang, U.S. District Judge Paula Zinnes wrote. And in any case, she said, an immigration judge had expressly barred the U.S. in 2019 from deporting Abrego Garcia to El Salvador, where he faced likely persecution by local gangs. So we went over a tweet, I think it was from Tim Pool. New in a court filing this evening, Trump administration said that it had mistakenly deported a Maryland father to a notorious Salvadoran prison due to an administrative error. It says here, but in Monday's court filing, attorneys for the government admitted that the Salvadoran man, Kilmer Abrego Garcia, was deported accidentally, although ICE was aware of his protection from removal to El Salvador. Abrego Garcia was removed to El Salvador because of an administrative error, the government told the court. Trump lawyers said the court has no ability to bring him back now that Abrego Garcia is in a Salvadoran custody. And then here, somebody else posted, this is from Will Chamberlain. This is from the actual court papers. It says on March 29th, 2019, the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, served Abrego Garcia with a notice to appear charging him as inadmissible pursuant to Section 1182 of Title 8 of the United States Code as an alien present in the United States without being admitted to or paroled, or who have arrived in the United States at any time or any place other than as designated by the Secretary of Homeland Security. It says during the course of his proceedings, Abrego Garcia remained in the ICE custody because the immigration judge with the Executive Office for Immigration Review denied Abrego Garcia bond at a hearing on April 24th, 2019, citing danger to the community because the evidence showed that he is a verified member of Mara Salvutra, which is MS-13, and therefore posed a danger to the community. The IJ also determined that he was a flight risk. Abrego Garcia appealed, and the Board of Immigration Appeals upheld his bond decision in an opinion issued on December 19th, 2019, citing the danger Abrego Garcia posed to the community. So it sounds like numerous times he's appealed, and it's been upheld. I don't understand, though. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, what was his status here? Did he have a green card or something? On March 12, 2025, ICE of Homeland Security Investigations arrested Abrego Garcia due to his prominent role in MS-13. Okay, so they arrested him due to his prominent role in MS-13, but that's not illegal to be a prominent member in MS-13. Especially not... Oh, okay, sorry. They arrested him in 2025. Okay, I was about to say, that doesn't make sense that they would do that in 2019, but they're saying they arrested him in 2025, and it is illegal in 2025 because the Trump administration has deemed them a terrorist organization. So, over the next 2 days, Abrego was transferred to the staging area for the removal flights discussed in paragraph 6. The operation that led to Abrego Garcia's removal to El Salvador was designed to only include individuals with no impediments to removal. Generally, individuals were not placed on the manifest until they were cleared for removal. So he has a hold on him where the judge says that he's not allowed to be deported. ICE was aware of this grant of withholding of removal at the time of Abrego Garcia's removal from the United States. Reference was made to this status on internal forms. Abrego Garcia was not on the initial manifest of Title 8 flight to be removed to El Salvador. Rather, he was an alternate. So it sounds like because there was a hold on him saying that he's not allowed to be deported, there's a red flag that pops up when you put them on the manifest that says they're not allowed to be on there. But if you put them on a backup to the manifest, that red flag does not pop up. And so even though they knew about it, they had it in some of their papers. It doesn't sound like they connected the fact that they had a person who was not allowed to be deported on one of these lists. And so when all of a sudden they had to unload some of the people off the plane, that him as one of the alternates ended up getting put on the plane without ever being put on the actual manifest where it would have popped up with the red flag. That's at least the story that they're telling. I don't know. People don't seem to believe them. But yeah, it says ICE was aware of this grand withholding of removal at the time of Abrego Garcia's removal from the United States. Reference was made to his status on internal forms. Abrego Garcia was not on the internal manifest of Title VIII flight to be removed to El Salvador. Rather, he was an alternate. As others were removed from the flight for various reasons, he moved up on the list and was assigned to the flight. The manifest did not indicate that Abrego Garcia should not be removed. Throughout administrative error, Abrego Garcia was removed from the United States to El Salvador. This was an oversight, and the removal was carried out in good faith based on the existence of a final order of removal and Abrego Garcia's purported membership in MS-13. So that doesn't make sense. Like, if he's not allowed to be removed, it doesn't sound like he was removed in good faith. Even if it's an accident, it's still it still sounds like they're skipping steps that they need to be taking to make sure that they're not doing something like this. So yeah, Tim Pool posted, I don't think it was an accident. I think Trump is defying the courts. And this is where Pisco posted and said, this should be a red line. I would hope, based on your on our conversation, with your steadfast belief in not getting it wrong with respect to the death penalty, that you could condemn this kind of stuff. That's what we read the other day on this. And then yeah, here it's saying there is little to no evidence to support a vague, uncorroborated allegation that Kilmar Abrego Garcia was once in the MS-13 street gang. Yeah, I think that's in Tim Pool's post, as he says here, an illegal immigrant was going to be deported. An informant accused him of being MS-13. A judge granted him protection from deportation in 2019. The Trump administration just sent him to El Salvador anyways. So he's saying somebody just said that he was an MS-13, and that's why he's being held. Or that's why they wanted to deport him, is because somebody just said that. And now the judge is saying this is just a vague and uncorroborated allegation. And in any case, she said, an immigration judge had expressly barred the U.S. in 2019 from deporting Abrego Garcia to El Salvador, where he faced likely persecution by local gangs. As defendants acknowledged, they had no legal authority to arrest him, no justification to detain him, and no grounds to send him to El Salvador, let alone deliver him into one of the most dangerous prisons in the Western Hemisphere. Okay. So that's the part that I wasn't understanding earlier, is that if they don't have the right to deport him, they were never allowed to detain him in the first place. The only reason that they would detain him is to deport him. And if they knew that they weren't allowed to deport him, it doesn't make sense that they would just deport him like this. Like, that they never should have been able to detain him in the first place. She said it was eye-popping that the government had argued that it could not be forced to bring Abrego Garcia back because he is no longer in U.S. custody. They do indeed cling to the stunning proposition that they can forcibly remove any person, migrant and U.S. citizen alike, to prisons outside of the United States, and then baldly assert that they have no way to effectuate return because they are no longer the custodian, and the court thus lacks jurisdiction, Zinnis wrote. As a particular matter, the facts say otherwise. So this is weird. So this is the Trump administration's position, is that because they've already taken him to the El Salvadorian prison, they don't have the right to bring him back. He's not in their custody anymore. He's now El Salvadorian custody. Like, he is now their prisoner. There's nothing the United States can do about this. They can't just go and kidnap somebody out of a prison and forcibly remove them from those prisons. That they have no right to that person anymore, which to me makes sense to an extent. Like, even if they did do this illegally, and even if they were not allowed to deport him, how are they supposed to get him back? If Bukeel has him, and they're like, hey, Bukeel, my bad, dude, we weren't supposed to give you that one, we gotta have him back, and Bukeel's like, no, then what? Like, what happens? What are we supposed to do about it? We're supposed to go to war with these guys or something? Like, what are we supposed to do? Trump, due process for MS-13 and Tren de Aragua is woke DEI. So true. So true. So yeah, I do at least understand this part. I don't understand, like, what the judge actually expects them to do. Even though I do think they probably removed him in bad faith. It doesn't make sense, like, how the judge is like, you do too have jurisdiction. Like, how? What jurisdiction? The Justice Department asked the 4th U.S. District Court of Appeals to pause Zenas' ruling. Abrego Garcia, a 29-year-old Salvadorian national who has never been charged or convicted of any crimes, was detained by immigration agents and deported last month. Abrego Garcia had a permit from DHS to legally work in the U.S. and was a sheet metal apprentice pursuing a journeyman license, his attorney said. His wife is a U.S. citizen. The White House has described Abrego Garcia's deportation as an administrative error, but has also cast him as an MS-13 gang member. Attorney for Abrego Garcia said there is no evidence he was in MS-13. In her order on Sunday, Zenas referenced earlier comments from now suspended Justice Department Attorney Erez Ruvini, in which Ruvini said, "We concede he should not have been removed to El Salvador," and that he responded, "I don't know," when asked why Abrego Garcia was being held. The Justice Department placed Ruvini on leave after he made the comments. Ooh. So the DOJ suspended this guy for saying, "I don't know why he was being held." Not only is it weird that Bondi would suspend this guy, but it's weird that he didn't know and that she cares that he didn't know. And it's weird that, I'm sorry, this is just so many, like, I'm so lost. Like, honestly, I just don't feel like Pam Bondi would ever give a fuck about this, nor Donald Trump or any of them. But it seems like this time they do. It seems like this time they're like, oh, plus, it doesn't sound like Ruvini was the one who was in charge of him. It's super weird. So yeah, it says the Justice Department placed Ruvini on leave after he made the comments. Attorney General Pam Bondi, in an interview on Fox News Sunday, likened Ruvini's comments to a defense attorney walking in, conceding something in a criminal matter. Oh, that's why he's in trouble. It's because he made them look bad. Okay. That would never happen in this country, she said. So he's on administrative leave now, and we'll see what happens. Stacey Young, a former Justice Department lawyer and founder of Justice Connection, a New York Department alumni that works to support employees, released a statement that defended Ruvini and said he has zealously represented the United States in some of the most high-stakes and controversial immigration cases under the Obama, Trump, and Biden administrations. Justice Department attorneys are being put in an impossible position: obey the president or uphold their ethical duty to the court and the Constitution. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it sounds like here, he actually just doesn't want to go along with their bullshit plan, and he doesn't want to lie. And so when they're saying, like, oh, well, just pretend that this was the case, he's like, but that's not the case. We know that that's a fucking lie. They're like, well, no, just go pretend and be the fucking lawyer in this case and just pretend that you're telling the truth. And so then he gets there and they're like, well, so what happened? He's like, shit, fuck, I don't know. Don't ask me, dude. I don't know shit. So Pam Bondi's like, what the fuck? I told you to lie, motherfucker. Now this makes a lot more sense. This makes a lot more sense now. We should all be grateful to DOJ lawyers who choose principle over politics and the rule of law over partisan loyalty. Based as fuck. Let's go, dude. Let's go, boy.
So, friends, a federal judge just reaffirmed that the Trump administration must return to the U.S. a man they unconstitutionally deported to El Salvador, and they must do it by 11:59 p.m. on Monday, April 7th. And the judge added that the detention of this man by the Trump administration is, quote, wholly lawless. You know, frankly, that would make a good hashtag to describe the Trump administration more broadly, wouldn't it? Hashtag wholly lawless.
Wholly lawless.
Let's talk about that, because justice matters.